Hey, this is Anthony Meisner with Land Title. I came to bring you a Greater Metro Denver update for the month of March. And as you can see here, we're off to the races this year, right? So lots of actives and under contracts happening. Look at that pending number, plus 30% month over month from February to March. So that's a promising number. It's very exciting. You can see month over month, we're also up 19%. These are really exciting numbers to see going in. Now, the only difference is the year over year numbers are slightly lagging behind. So buyers are coming in, they're off to the races. Sellers aren't really looking like they're picking up or staying with them. So those active units of inventory numbers are slightly down from where they were last month. Usually you don't see that. Usually see this kind of trend up through this portion of the year. Let's take a look at active units and let's talk a little bit more about this. We're in a seller's market, right? It's a very tight market. We're up about 900 units from this time last year. So you can see we're at 5,600 total units month over month, slightly down, but year over year, about 18% up. That 18% number can be a little misleading, right? Because that sounds like a lot when in all reality, a balanced market in the Denver metro area is somewhere around 15,000 units or so. So we're still in a supply shortage, which you can see, but the big difference is it didn't come all from the same place. Lots of our supply changes were in a Denver, Broomfield, or Arapahoe County where you saw a lot more inventory come on the market. The rest have stayed very same. Now, if we look at month supply of inventory, this gives us a better gauge because 1.7 months of inventory is a pretty strong seller's market. You should see some bidding wars out there in the marketplace. You should see buyers be able to actually get under contract. So at least the business can flow at this level of inventory. Very different than what we saw in the 21 or 22 years. So we won't see any of those crazy bidding wars like what you saw then, but it's going to feel much more like pre-pandemic, like in the beginning of 2020. So if we look way back, it feels much more like a more balanced market, which we would expect to see in Colorado. Now, it's still very seller favored, right? All right, days in MLS. This one's going to trend down all the way into that May-June timeframe. Buyers tend to come to market and sellers come to market a little slower. So as things pick up, all the way through May or June when the peak of the market takes place, and then it tends to trend down in the fall. Expect this number to look a lot like where it did last year. We should be getting into the 20s at some point, but the median even could be somewhere around that 10 to 15 mark. So when you're setting those expectations, definitely don't set expectations at what we see now, but definitely what we have to come. So this is a good sign. Year over year, they're up just a hair, but it's not that big of a deal. That's like one day. Now, if we look at this one, this is price point slides. I like these to work with our buyers and sellers. And the reason I like these for buyers and sellers is they can help set some expectations a little bit easier because if you're buying a home at the 500,000 mark, then we have a lot to compare that with, right? 500,000 has 19% more inventory this time than it did last year. And there are about 6% less solds in that price band than there were this time last year, right? Those constraints of money have really slowed down a lot of the lower end, and it's been tough because there's still an inventory constraint down there, but yet they're slowing down. The higher end of the market is doing a little bit better than it was at this time last year. So really think over 800,000 or even over 600,000. More people are coming to market. A lot of them were sitting on the sidelines last year, so that's a pretty good sign that maybe we're turning a corner. Now, this one, month supply of inventory and days on market, should make it easier to set those expectations, right? Under a million, less than 2 months of inventory, strong seller's market. It looks like things are moving relatively quickly, right? So when we use this as to set those expectations, it can really help. If you're selling luxury real estate, there is a lot more inventory. 8 months of inventory at 3+ million, 400% increase year over year, but in all reality, 188 days still isn't that long for 3+ million, but it's just a little bit slower process, right? So you can use this to set those expectations for the sellers. There's definitely opportunity out there if you're buying over 2 million right now, because there's just not as many buyers able to qualify without cheap money. So that's really helpful. We're seeing a lot of that in the cash range, but it's not all cash, right? So I think it's a common misconceived notion. People are still borrowing money and buying $1 million homes or multi-million-dollar homes. The sold analysis here, this is one where you can see where we are versus last year. And now our solds year over year are down by 9.49%. But with those under contract numbers rising, this isn't going to last very long, right? So we had kind of an unprecedented March last year because it was very different than what the normal spring market would have assumed. But we had a very, normalized March this year. So I think that's a good sign for our April and May numbers should look a lot better than what you saw. So don't panic about a little bit of a down because of March. We're still only in the first quarter, right? So things look pretty good. The big difference is submarket by submarket, they have been quite a bit different. So definitely use your submarket data when you're working with your listings. Now, average sold price in the detached market is up 5.5% year over year. This is a really good sign to see the stability in the Colorado market and really show that we have seasonal trends and seasonal swings, but year over year we're looking really good right now. Average home is up about $40,000, which is very cool. Now, the attached market is a little bit softer than the detached market. It is nearly flat, and it has been for quite some time now. There should be a little bit more competition in this marketplace, but it's still just a tough one because people are having a hard time getting off the sidelines in a lot of these. But as you can see, changes across all the different counties is a little different, right? Broomfield, way more sales. Jefferson County, way more sales in the attached market. Those markets are a little more competitive. So using this data, you can definitely use that county data to help support what's going on with you, or at least have those conversations with those buyers. Now, this one, I like this one because it shows the difference between this year and last year. Year over year, we're down 9% from our current month. But as you can see, that was the anomaly year last year in March. And this happens every year where you have a unforeseen month where it has a lot of sales. Normally, April has a lot more sales than a March does. But year to date, we're only down 2%. And I think you're going to see that catch up over the next few months. So this is a really great sign to see. And this is a really good slide to share with people to show a little bit of normalcy in the market and what's happening. One of the last slides I like to share is our percentage list to sale price. Another one I really think you can work with your buyers and sellers again on because it's got it by price range for you. You can see that the beef of the market from that 400,000 to 1 million price range is above asking price or at asking price, 100% list to sale price. So things are very competitive. We're talking about multiple offers, but we're not talking about crazy multiple offers like we were in 21 or 22. We're talking about more like, we might have 1, 2, 3 offers on a house. So things are moving rapidly. They are going for slightly over asking price, which means a lot of those concessions we talked about in Q4 or in the beginning of Q1 have really gone away. But that being said, there's stuff still sitting on the market. So there's always opportunity in a market like this, which I think is important. If you look at it by attached market, the attached market's fairly similar, just not quite as hot as the detached market. If you have any other questions, don't forget you can always refer back to the highlight reel. We always put it at the beginning of the presentation when we send it out, but if you need it, it's right here. Don't forget to reach out if you have any questions, you need any local insights. We're always happy to help. This is Anthony at Land Title. We'll catch you next time.